Happy Friday, everybody. It's chamber check-in time. And today I have with me the Zoo Boise Director, Peacock. Hi, Gene.
Hey, how you doing, Paul?
I'm doing awesome. Hey, thanks for carving out some time with me. I'm excited to feature you in the zoo, Zoo Boise, and help the listeners understand what's going on over there, the history, what's going on now, and hear from you about a little bit about your history and what's going on over there. But first, I got to thank our series sponsor, Gene, and you know it's Delta Dental of Idaho. And Delta Dental of Idaho has been providing best-in-class dental insurance benefits to Idahoans for over 50 years. And with that, I'm going to share a fun factoid from their Tooth Truth series. Here we go.
Did you know that kids laugh around 400 times a day and adults just 15 times a day? Lighten up, adults.
I love that one. And I bet you hear laughter day in and day out at Zoo Boise.
Definitely. I like to laugh, and I think I probably laugh more than 15 times a day. So, good thing.
Well, Gene, let's start us off. How long have you been with Zoo Boise? And tell us a little bit about your history that led you here to Boise.
Okay. So I started off as the executive director at Zoo Boise at the beginning of 2018. So it'll be 5 years into this year, first of next year. Been a great 5 years. We've had a lot of growth at the zoo and a load of community support. As far as for me, before Zoo Boise, I was director of the Brandywine Zoo, which is in Wilmington, Delaware, suburbs of Philadelphia. And then before that, I spent about a decade working for North Carolina State Parks, where I was essentially the curator over all the live animal collections for the state park system. And I designed exhibits and I oversaw education programs. So really engaging job that took me in all parts of the state. And then prior to that, I was a zookeeper. From 1988 until 2002, I was a zookeeper and started off at the Science Center in Greensboro, North Carolina, and worked my way around various zoos. And it's been a good career. It's provided for me and my family a lot of interesting experiences, and I don't really know if I'd know how to do anything else.
Well, I've got 3 kids, and every single one of them, except for my oldest, has always talked about being a zookeeper. And my youngest, my daughter and my youngest son have both been through a Zoo Boise camp. Mm-hmm. And this year, especially my youngest, that is really now what he wants to do. So you got to tell us about that when we get to that question about the programs that you offer. You know, the city of Boise, the Zoo Boise is a program of the city of Boise. Tell us about that relationship.
So Zoo Boise is a unit of Boise Parks and Recreation. Great department to work with. It's a part of the city of Boise. We've got great support from the mayor, the city council, Parks and Recreation, and they really see the zoo as an asset for the people of Boise and Ada County and Idaho and everybody that comes here to recreate. And that's why our zoo, as far as zoos go, is a really inexpensive zoo to go to. We're like $11 or $12.
Yeah.
A lot of zoos our size that I know, being in this business, they're $25 or $30 to get in. So the city really believes the zoo needs to be something that's accessible and affordable for the people of Boise and the area, because it's an asset. And we got a great relationship. And then it's run in partnership with Friends of Zoo Boise, which is our nonprofit division.
Oh.
And I'm the director of the zoo on the city side and the executive director of the nonprofit on the Friends of Zoo Boise side. And so that's how we do all of our fundraising, our educational programs, and all that. And our conservation work all goes through that part. So it's a great partnership. We try to treat it so when people come to the zoo, it looks seamless and everybody is just a Zoo Boise employee.
Well, there's something special about riding down the green belt, and you get to see Tafari with his head leaning over.
We routinely in surveys, people will go, one of the coolest things is the green belt and the giraffes on the green belt. And
Yeah.
I don't know if there's another. Number one, the green belt system is amazing. I've lived all over the country, and the green belt systems are amazing. And I don't think there's another green belt system with giraffes on it. So
Yeah.
pretty unique, pretty cool.
Hey, tell me a little bit about the area that the zoo covers. How many acres is the zoo?
So the zoo sits in Julia Davis Park. It's the heart of Julia Davis Park, right smack in the middle. We have about 17, 18 acres of exhibits inside of our perimeter fence. And we've just finished a master plan. When we opened up Gorongosa in 2019, people were going, what are you going to do next? And I'm like, let's get this open. But the Friends of Zoo Boise did a great job. We put together a master plan. So we're going to start talking about what we're going to do next. And we do have a little room to expand, but we are landlocked in the park. But it's a great park. We've got some great partners, Boise State across the way there, the Discovery Center, the State History Museum, the Art Museum. It's just a great location.
Oh, absolutely. And there was a run that was put on just this last weekend, and you can get a mile in there with a couple laps, and it's really fun running in the zoo. I know the kids love that.
Well, it's a popular event.
Yeah. Hey, so you mentioned the Gorongosa exhibit. What kind of animals are showcased there, and what is the conservation effort that the exhibit is all about?
Okay. So the Gorongosa exhibit, we're really trying to accomplish three things really. Number one, we want to introduce the people of Boise to Gorongosa National Park. That's our primary conservation partner. It's in Mozambique, Africa. So the concept is to bring a slice of Gorongosa to Boise. It's a long way to go to Mozambique. We do trips there, but it's a long way to go. And so we want people to understand Gorongosa, its unique story, and be able to experience a little bit of it. So that's the first thing we do. But when you go through the exhibit, it is designed to build empathy. We're all about empathy and making connections, because that's just really the way to promote conservation and take it to the next step. If you can make the connections with nature, with the animals, with wildlife, and with the people from the places we highlight at our zoo through empathy, that's how you make connections and you start to care. So that's really what we try to accomplish in Gorongosa. And then it is about the animals, to highlight some of the uniqueness of Gorongosa, because it is one of the most biodiverse locations on the planet.
Yeah. I love it, and that's one of the first places that my kids want to go when we go to the zoo. And then when you walk in, there's these little tents, and I see a sign that you can stay in those tents. Tell us about that.
Yep. So that ties back into empathy. When you first go in the park, if you remember in the exhibit, there's the big sign that you walk under that goes over. That actually is a replica of the sign to get into the actual park in Gorongosa, and it's written in Portuguese, and that's the main language in Mozambique. And then the tents, we call it Chitango Camp. When you go visit Gorongosa, you stay in Chitango Camp. That's where the restaurant is, the lodges, all of the places. That's where you base yourself in Gorongosa. And so we have our Chitango Camp, and you can contact the zoo and you can do sleepovers in Gorongosa here. So that's just one of those ways we make those connections.
I love it. I love it. And I know that you're revamping even that a little bit now. And I also want, every time I go to the zoo, there's a water feature.
The canal.
There's a boat, but I don't think I've ever seen that thing running. Tell me, what's the timing that I got to get on one of those?
So the canal, a lot of people ask about the canal, and that canal is, it's runoff and irrigation water that flows directly into the river. So we can't do anything with that water. We can't use it for animals or anything.
Okay.
It's got to stay clean to go in there. What we do have is that's called our conservation cruise, and it's strictly run by volunteers. We've got about 300 to 400 volunteers between adult volunteers and our zoo team program. And so the volunteers raise that or run that. When you go and you take the conservation cruise, 100% of that money goes to our conservation fund. So when it runs is determined when the volunteers that are trained to captain the boat can be there and do it.
Okay. All right.
But that's one of the amazing things that our volunteers do for the zoo.
I love it. I love it. Hey, you talked about zoo teen camp, or tell us about some of the all the different what's the word I'm looking for?
Programming.
Special attractions and camps and programs and private animal experiences that give us kind of a high level overview, besides just walking through the zoo and checking out the animals.
Right. We've got a little bit of something for everybody. First, our animal encounters. Right now, we're coming on the end of the avian flu that hit the area. So some of our birds are still off exhibit, and some of our encounters with our birds, we haven't done them for the safety of them, like our penguin encounter where you can go in and feed penguins. Hopefully those things will be coming back. But we also have where you can feed Podgy, our sloth bear. She has eaten many mealworms from people, and 100% of that goes to conservation. Our giraffe feeding, when you go feed the giraffes, that goes to conservation. Feeding the goats in the farm, conservation. We do a Mr. Mack encounter. That's our Aldabra tortoise. He was 101 years old, something like that this year. And you get to go in and have a personal encounter with Mr. Mack.
Wow.
And a portion of that goes to conservation. You could feed our anteaters. That's really cool. We have a tube in the wall and an anteater tongue. This is how wide my screen is. And so like this. And so the anteaters will eat yogurt out of a tube. Really cool. So those are a lot of the cool animal encounters you can do. Programming, we have everything from we have homeschool programs we got a great homeschool community here in Boise, and they're actively involved in stuff. We do programs for scouting. We have a full slate of summer camps. I think we've got another 1 to 2 weeks of summer camp, and then we'll wrap that up for the year. But our camps, as soon as we announce them in the spring, they pretty much sell out almost instantly.
Yep.
And we have waiting lists of 50 or 60 people. And we're just limited where I mentioned the master plan. We're looking at building new exhibits for the old part of the front of the zoo. And we want to build a new education center so we can have classrooms so we can expand that. So that's something that we got going on. But our camps cover everything from zookeeping to biology to exhibit design. A lot of cool things for kids for that. And then we have adult programming. We have a brew at the zoo coming up, I think August 5th in the evening.
Yep.
And so you come do that, and we'll do Valentine programs, our special events throughout the year, our extravaganza, and our boo at the zoo will be back this year finally. And it's going to be 2 days this year, end of October. So a lot of neat events like that. One that's been really popular is Zoo's Line Is It Anyway? If you know the ad-lib TV show, Whose Line It Is Anyway? There's a local ad-lib group, and one of our employees is in it. And they do comedy shows at the zoo, and 100% of the proceeds go to our conservation fund. And I think everyone they've done so far this year is sold out, even in this heat. So a lot of fun. So there's something for everybody at the zoo. There really is.
Absolutely. You mentioned, having about 300 volunteers. How many employees are employed at Zoo Boise?
So permanent year-round employees, we've got maybe 45 to 50. 3 entities at the zoo. We have city employees, then we have the Friends of Zoo Boise employees, and I manage all of those. And then we have a concessions, which is Service Systems Associates.
Okay.
That's our gift shop, our catering, our snack bars, our carousel. They run all of that. So all of those 3 departments together that I oversee year round, 45 to 50. Seasonal, when we bring in like all of the seasonal people in concessions, all of the camp counselors and everything, we can have 70 to 80 people working at the zoo. So
Wow.
it's a big operation, and a lot of people think it's just zookeepers taking care of animals. But we've got like 13 people that work in the animal department, and then we have a veterinarian department of 4 people. And so, 17, 18 people total take care of the animals. Everybody else is what it takes to operate the zoo. So big operation and very multifaceted.
I love it. How many animals do you have?
So we've got about 100 different species. If you count every single individual bug, we've got bug exhibits. We got about 800 animals.
Oh,
But if
wow.
you make the bug exhibits colonies, we probably have about 400 animals.
Okay. Okay. And you got a new tiger recently, correct?
Akasha. She came to us in late April, early May, and went on exhibit in May, and she's been hugely popular.
Yes, she has.
We're everybody goes, why do you have a single tiger and why is she older? And our team put together the retigrament campaign, and people love it. Tigers are solitary animals, and you get a lot of that in the zoo. People will go, well, the animal looks lonely, or the animal's just laying around, and the tiger looks bored because it's laying there. In the wild, tigers are solitary animals, and all of the cats, just like your house cat, basically lays around 20 to 23 hours a day.
Yeah.
So that's a tiger doing what it does. And she's an older tiger, and there's a program called SSP, Species Survival Plan. It's kind of like if you have a purebred dog and you have the American Kennel Club and they can trace its genetics and genealogy. Well, SSPs do that for all zoo animals, and they'll match up animals that are a better match genetically to keep the population genetically diverse. Akasha is an older animal and is pretty fairly well represented, so she's not going to breed. And so they needed a place that wanted an older tiger that wasn't going to breed so she could live out her life and have great care. And that's how we got Akasha. And that's how we came up with retigrament. And so that's how we do that.
I love it. Well, we're also sorry to hear about the lion that just passed away recently. Our hearts go out to you and your team who put so much care and love into those animals, and to lose one like that, it's just got to be tough on y'all.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that. That was Muddawa, and we euthanized her on Tuesday. Past 6 or 7 months, we had noticed a decline in her health, and our keeper staff does an amazing job. They monitor animals every day. We've got a great veterinarian team. We got a new vet that just started a couple of months ago, and she's amazing. Our previous vet, also another amazing vet. So we've been very fortunate in our veterinarian care at the zoo. And just over time, as we noticed some things wrong with her, we got testing, and it finally got to the point where the decision was made that it's time. Yeah. It's not an easy decision. I'm ultimately the one that has to do that. That's one of the hardest things for my job. But once we euthanized her and we did all of the testing, it confirmed she had pretty advanced stage kidney cancer that had spread to her liver, her lungs, her intestines. And so it was the right thing to do. And at 22 years old, that's a testament to the care she had here. That's a very, very old line. And that just tells how well cared for the animals are here.
I love it. Well,
but thank you for that. I'll pass that on to the staff. We always appreciate that.
No, absolutely. Hey, anything else? Season passes. What time of the year do people buy season passes, and how can we support Zoo Boise by just other than just patronizing?
So, well, first of all, coming to the zoo, every time you come in the zoo, 50 cents of your admission goes to our conservation fee. So visiting the zoo helps support conservation. We've got amazing projects all over the world and right here in our backyard. The Zoo Boise Conservation Fund is what paid the majority to restore the foothills after the fire in 2016. And we're still funding that ongoing project. But following us, our PR team does a great job on Twitter and Facebook. And now we have a TikTok page. And Toogle, our hornbill, I think is one of the most viral animals there. I think he's had some like 8 or 9 million watches on a video.
Oh,
So
cool.
he's a really cool bird. But just supporting us in any of those ways, our special events, our programs, by visiting the zoo. Anytime you do that, it supports us. And when you support us, you're supporting conservation. 10% of our budget, or 10% of our revenue, we have to give 10% of our revenue every year to conservation. And it's a big part of what we do. It's what we believe in. And so thank you for the support to everybody that does it. And we've got a lot of exciting things on the horizon. We just finished the master plan. So we're going to have some new exhibits coming up that you're going to start hearing about, and a lot of exciting times for the zoo.
Well, I've got the website scrolling on the bottom of the screen here, and I've been dying to ask this question. Gene, with the last name of Peacock, at a zoo that doesn't have any peacocks, when are we going to see a peacock? Or are you the peacock?
I am the peacock at the zoo. There's a few zoos that still have them. They used to have them years ago.
Yeah.
The problem with peacocks is, and my staff will say that I'm very much like this, they don't like to stay in one place very long. I don't like sitting in my office. I like to be out and about in the zoo. But the problem with peacocks is they'll get out of the fence. And as the zoo's grown up and it's so urban around us, they get in the road and everything. So just not safe. So you get just me.
I love it. I love it. Gene, oh my gosh, thank you for taking a little time with me
Absolutely.
today. We love the zoo here in Boise. And thank you again for all that you do in the community, Gene.
Yep. And thank you and the chamber and everybody in the community for all the years of support and many more to come. We couldn't do it without any of you. So thank you.
Hey, enjoy your weekend. And I can't wait to see you again soon, Gene.
Yep.
Bye.